Hi, welcome to a special show. This is our 60th one. I am your co-host, Eneojo.
And I'm Neil Toretti, and we have back with us
Tianna G. Hansen, your special guest, 3 triple host.
Who filled in for me when I was having my knee replacement surgery and did a fantastic job. Go girl.
Yeah.
You are hard to replace.
The only distinction, Tianna, you're the only one in this podcast who has been both a guest as well as a host. So,
I'm special.
Yeah.
Yay!
What? Yeah.
We love that.
Yeah.
So it's very special to be here and have a part in it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well,
I remember when we did our last recording with you, after we stopped recording, and I remember you even said, "This isn't goodbye, right?" I'm like, "Of course not. We're going to find ways to keep bringing you back for one reason or another." Or,
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, we thought it would be fun for the 60th episode to, go back and revisit some of our favorite moments, maybe some quotes. We'll talk about some things some guests said that really stuck with us. And also explain how we got started, how this podcast got started for some of our loyal viewers or audience listeners as well, who have been here from the beginning, might remember Daily Wisdom Words was actually a website. It was founded by Samantha LaBeouf, our founder, and it used to be this writers-based website that had prompts if you have writer's block. I used to write self-help articles on there about mental health and all kinds of stuff. And our producer, Monday Abuh,
and poetry.
Poetry prompts. We had music prompts. It was all kinds of good stuff on there. And unfortunately, that got shut down last year, but because of circumstances. And Monday Abuh, our producer, was the one who suggested, why don't we do a podcast to help promote some of these writers who are members of the website? It'll give them an incentive to join. It's like, hey, come on here and we'll put you on a podcast. And that's how it started. And it was originally supposed to be a writers-based more leaning towards writers, and that quickly ended when we realized, okay, this is a very small window. I mean, don't get me wrong, all 3 of us are writers. It is our passion. We love it. We support writers. We love writers, but there's only so many times you can ask a guest, so where do you get your ideas from? How did you write this book? Or what's your writing process like? And that did get old after a while. But what we noticed was that whenever they went into their backgrounds and their stories, and any of them who had some kind of struggle with mental health issues, which led them to writing, people started listening in, people started caring about that, and we started caring about that, and we realized, okay, we might have something here. Maybe this is the way to go. And slowly we started shifting to mental health. And
that's the best thing we've ever done.
Definitely.
Because there are so many people out there with mental health issues, and so many amazing doctors that come in and talk about, what people should do and how to get help and stuff like that. And so for us, it has been a learning,
journey.
I mean, I've learned so much. I learned that T is the best substitute co-host a girl could ever want.
I second that.
you. So,
well, speaking of that, let me mention something real quick before I forget it.
Sure.
So even when Daily Wisdom Words was just a website, no one had ever thought it was not a podcast, had nothing to do with podcasting. I would find ways to bring Tianna's name in there occasionally. Do you remember that, Tianna? I used to ask you, can I quote you on this? And can I do this? Hey, can I use this example? I'm writing an article on this. And so invariably, your name would keep popping up every couple of months in my articles. Yes, that's the book. We will plug. We will give.
Just
the full
saying. Just
We will
saying.
give the full details on that and the full 411 on that. But yeah, so I just thought I'd mention it. I thought, knowing what I know now, it's almost as if I can look back and say I was planting the seeds of like your connection to the name Daily Wisdom Words. Like I was putting it out there in the universe, because whoever thought one day like I'd go from referencing you to you co-hosting the actual podcast. So.
I had no idea.
Well, the universe had a plan.
It did.
Yeah.
I always thought you would be an important person in my life, Neil. And I don't really know what told me that, but something from the moment I first, because we were friends even before I started my little indie press, and you submitted work there and I accepted it on the 4th of July, which was like, I think, first acceptance ever, to a lit mag.
And both of you need to realize what a gift you have. You know, I mean, there are people out there that are doing what you do that really, you know, and you guys have the talent and the brains. Okay?
You do too, Rini. I haven't seen your writing. Keep it to yourself.
Well, I'm more of a painter. I'm more of an artist than I am I've got to be. Hi, sweetie.
Hi, Monday.
Hi.
Hi.
Your ears must be burning.
Hi.
We were just talking about you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Good things. Only good things.
Yeah.
Only good things.
Okay.
How are you, Monday?
I'm good.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was explaining a brief history, and maybe this is the perfect time to ask you, because I mentioned how it was your idea to start this podcast in the first place. So what made you think of it when you thought of this idea? What was going through your head when you first thought Daily Wisdom Words should have a podcast? Tell us that.
Rini has a big mouth.
Actually,
Not really.
yeah.
What?
No,
Go ahead.
I had no idea. Like I had no vision whatsoever. It was just
Your dogs are barking.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Okay.
I had no what's it called, like reason whatsoever for starting up the whole podcast. The idea just came into my head. I was like, why not have a podcast? We are doing so much to get the word out, like help people mentally, help them write, and so many other things that we do. So creating a podcast, a listening platform, is more or less a better way to get to them than writing, because most people would love to listen than to write. So that was the idea.
Rini, you mentioned something. This is worth bringing up about, you were obviously joking that like Monday started it because you talk too much. What a lot of people don't know, actually, barely anybody knows this, is it was a revolving door of hosts before it came down to me and Rini. Monday, you remember that, right? I mean, we won't go into names.
It was first. I think it was just me and someone else. I don't really remember the person's name. It's best I don't remember the person's name.
So
Neil remembers everything.
Yeah.
If I need to remember something, I call Neil.
Yeah, he's the best guy for it.
He really is.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. So it was a revolving door, and it was Monday and someone else. Then it was me and that someone else. Then me and Samantha, our founder. Before finally it settled on me and Rini. And now I can't imagine, other than you, Tianna, I can't imagine anyone else like doing it. So there you go.
Do you remember when? Yeah, it did. It clicked. Everything.
I mean, the beginning shows, we had no idea what we were doing. I still don't think we have any idea what we're doing, but
No.
I think we know what we're doing now.
Yes, I was teasing.
Monday goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone else.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It was basically a very much more controlled environment back then. We were like everything has to be on paper, every breath, every pause, every word had, and it didn't feel organic enough. That's what I felt, and like
It
and if you go
didn't. Yeah.
back, if you go back and look, it's like our questions are just there's no smooth transition between any. It's like all over the place. We jump from A to D to back to B to back to F. Crazy.
Yeah, we did. And then Tianna co-hosted, and she brought us all together.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because Neil's like always has all these prepared questions, and I'd pop on like the day before. I was thinking maybe I'll ask this and this and this. Like, okay.
Yeah.
We've got it down to where.
I remember when. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rini. Go ahead.
Well, we've got it down to a science now, where Neil asks all the questions, and I just butt in. Oh wait, that's always the way it's been.
I remember, Tianna, you saying, like, I casually mentioned, yeah, I type up the script, and you're like, where's my script? And I was so afraid of, like, sending you a format, and the reason why I was like, oh, no, he's going to tell me how to do it. No. I seriously thought that you'd be offended if I would, like, send you a long format, so that's why I never,
I guess I'm going to wing it. Okay. You never sent her a script?
Nope. Never.
He sends me a script every time, too.
Yeah, I didn't.
If there's ever a more open person to, and she was scared to death. I'm going to smack you with that. Put your face here. There. I smacked him upside the head for you. There.
And yet, when we did the first episode with Catherine Greenberg,
my favorite.
You were perfect.
I remember
she was perfect.
But I just went
she was perfect.
Intuition, and Catherine and I like clicked immediately. I don't even remember something she said, and I responded, and it wasn't even a question. I just responded. Oh, it was intuitive eating. And we were talking about that, and it just went we just clicked immediately because I knew exactly what she was talking about. She knew I knew what I was talking about.
What is intuitive eating? I'm intrigued.
It is the best thing I've ever discovered, actually, during the pandemic. I joined a healthy eating support group that was hosted by my therapist, and she taught us intuitive eating. It's a whole process program created by these two women. I forget their name right now, but there's a book too. I don't have it with me right now. I wish I did. But it's just called intuitive eating, and it's the basis is that you just eat whatever your body is calling for in that moment. So instead of, it goes totally against
I'd
diet.
be eating Oreos every single meal.
That's great. Yeah. If your body is saying you want Oreos, good. Whatever, have your Oreos. It's just if your body's also saying, oh, I also want cereal. I don't know, that sounds like a very weird combo. I don't know where that came from, but just go with it. Just get rid of
pretty good to me.
Get rid of that punishment. Don't have the ideology of oh my God, I've been eating Oreos every meal. I'm awful. I'm a bad person. I should stop doing this. You're okay, my body is needing Oreos.
Monday, do you have anybody that you remember that you would share?
Yeah, I think I do. The one about feminism.
The one about what?
Feminism. Yeah. Neha Jindal.
Yeah. Neha Jindal was the one. She talked about feminism. She's a writer as well. And it was it? I don't know if it was our first international guest or not, but it was the first one from in India. And then we had one more person after her in India as well. But that was really good. That was She talked about writing. She talked about feminism. She talked about, Tianna, you will so relate to this. She wrote a book where she had a poetry book out where she compared phases of women to phases of the moon. And
Of the moon, yeah, exactly.
Rini, I don't know if you, but Neha Jindal was like, yeah. And
I
then we
remember her. Yes.
Yeah.
I loved
about
her.
depression and how it's viewed differently in Eastern culture.
Absolutely.
Monday, you were the one who got her on, right? It was your idea to have
Yeah.
her on, right?
Yeah. He found her.
Good job.
You know,
He's
feminism
been to
is
some
my
really
go-to.
good guests.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And the one about sleep too gets to me every time. I love that episode.
Which one?
The one about
The
sleep.
insomnia one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sleep?
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. She was great. I learned so much from her.
And brownie points for her because she said before coming on to our show, she binged the episodes I sent her the night before, like just to get a feeling. And that just like, oh, you binged us. That's the greatest thing ever.
I know. Neil, what was her name? Because I always have to ask you the guest name.
Kristen Casey.
Huh? Kristen Casey.
Kristen Casey. Yeah,
Dr.
that's
Kristen
her
Casey.
name.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch that episode, people, because if you have insomnia, this woman, she knows her stuff.
Yeah.
She does.
Yeah.
So insomnia is no fun for anybody. Anyone.
Yeah. And if anyone wants a teaser, if anyone wants a good teaser for it, the most interesting teaser for an episode is she said ideally your bed should be for sleeping and sex.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yep.
if it's interesting, then check it out of why she said that and under what context she said that.
Yeah, you should check that one out.
I could say something here right now, but oh my God. You guys did a show with Dr. Sangeeta Prasad, and she talked about how, Neil, explain it. You explained it really well earlier.
I did it.
How trauma.
Yeah, I was telling her, yeah, you can talk about this, and she was like, "Let me write that down."
Wait, look towards us. Look towards us. Okay.
So it was transgenerational trauma, which basically passed down. And what she taught us, or not taught us, I would say, but made us realize or reminded us that a lot of the times when our trauma starts coming out, we think it might be recent events or, oh, we're feeling this way because this just happened, right? Or somebody just passed away, or I lost my best friend, or whatever. And it's really more built up over the years because it's passed down, it can be passed down from generations, 3 generations worth of trauma could be within us, but we don't realize that when it all comes out, we tend to associate it with the most modern, the recent circumstances in our lives when it could be way, way before, it could be when we were in the womb or just 1 year old or whatever. So
it's, it's a fascinating episode. I was so jealous that you two, it's one of the best episodes.
You were even jealous of Catherine's. I remember you called me up, Rini. I sent you the link on Google Drive. This was before we uploaded it for everyone to watch. And you're like, why did I miss that one? Because you had voluntarily given it to Tianna because of some scheduling conflict we had, and we had a episode that got lost. And no one knows about that. Off the record, we'll tell you. We'll fill you in, Tianna. Yeah, it was the sound. It was the sound, yeah. But because of that, we had some scheduling things, and so there were a lot. So Rini suggested, Tianna, you were coming in, you were about to start guest hosting. Why don't we give you one of them? Because there were so many we were trying to get in the can. But that
the other one ended up getting canceled because Rini didn't think that she would be up for, as she was prepping for the surgery, doing 2 in a day. But then that earlier one got canceled anyway. So she was like, I could actually do Catherine, but then no, I promised Steve, so I'll just let her have it. And that's how it came about. But then when we showed it to you, I remember you're like, why did I miss this one?
I know. But I don't know if it would have been that good had it not been, had it been me, because they clicked and I saw it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was so good.
Catherine, the first thing she said after she started talking, she looked at you, Tianna, and said, Tianna, I feel that you can feel what I'm saying. Like, I remember that. She said that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
My energy very fast. And I felt like she kind of like set me up for the rest of the episodes, where I kept expecting that. I was like, oh, maybe it'll happen again. And I don't think quite that connection ever happened again, though, in the ones that I covered.
But it only took that one time.
Yeah.
To make it such a great episode.
Very, very each other. So very
that was one of my all-time favorite episodes.
Definitely.
All-time favorite.
Definitely.
And another guest that is and will always be one of my favorites is Dr. Andreas Edrick from
addiction specialist.
I remember that guy.
Yeah.
I think we recorded with him. I think that was. Yeah, I do. We had 2 episodes with him, I think. Yes.
2.
Was it 2 or 3? Just 2? 2.
I think it was 2. It was 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that really stuck with me is, this man knows his stuff. Yeah. And if you know someone with addiction problems, send him to this man, because I'm telling you, they'll have to go to Denver.
You have to be in Denver. But if there's anybody who knows about addiction, it is he has seen everything from little kids addicted to drugs. He has seen examples of that, like young teenagers doing heroin, all the way up to senior citizens. So he's covers the whole gamut, and definitely knew his stuff.
And kids that are addicted to TikTok. They have what he calls a TikTok.
He talked about that. Yeah, he talked about that.
Yeah, he did.
It's a serious addiction.
He sent me an article too before he came on the air about it. Yeah.
Is it just TikTok or like all social medias, or just TikTok?
TikTok is becoming more and more for younger people. Like it is social media in general. Obviously, there's a serious, but that is starting to like really, really dominate certain minds.
They develop a kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like their head goes.
There's so much addiction towards that app. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because addiction is a nasty word. But it's a mental health issue. It's a disease. It is a disease.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is.
It's a disease,
And one of the things that my therapist first shared with me that resonated just now. Sorry, Rini, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, this is what we want.
It was just I came to her and I said, okay, I have all this stuff going on. I'm dealing with like severe PTSD symptoms. At that point in time, I don't think I was really eating at all. I wasn't sleeping, none of that. And I was like, I'm also overusing alcohol and drugs as a coping mechanism, and I want that to stop. So she was like, okay, well, first off, you can't come out here and just be like, okay, I have addiction and trauma, and I want to do both of them. You have to focus on the trauma, which is which is why you have those addiction coping mechanisms. And she literally told me, don't focus on like not drinking or getting rid of your coping mechanisms. Focus on that trauma, and the rest will kind of take care of itself. And miraculously, that's kind of what's happened. So actually, one of my other favorite guests, and maybe I'm a little bit biased, but my best friend, Rohan Sharma.
Yes.
He actually,
give me 1 second. I actually have it on here. This?
Oh my God. Neil's prepared.
I'm in it, so I have to promote this because my name's in the book.
Wait, really? Neil, is that RX Monday's book?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm talking
I was gonna say, what if we have RX Monday, Lena, and Tianna on the show.
You know, Monday, you took the. I was thinking, what would happen if Rohan and Lena had it, because they would. I mean, look at his experience from in prison and her experience deleting, dealing with prisoners and being very sympathetic to them. Right? Lena was a big advocate of. They're there for a reason. It's not just that they're all criminals, and she is a huge advocate of, again, getting to the root cause of why are they there? What caused them to be there? What are the circumstances? And can you imagine, Tianna, the chemistry of them being on one podcast?
That would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
We had this guest who I adore, and she's a friend. Her name is Sharon LaFlamme. And she
I remember
has taught us about, she has taught us about the vagal nerve. Is that it, Neil?
Polyvagal
the vagal nerve.
And it's funny. Can I give like a behind the scenes nugget of that? We were.
You always do that, so go on.
No, I think it's fun because I enjoy it when I hear on other podcasts. Like I see behind the scenes stuff, and like I enjoy it. So I don't know. That's why I do it. But right after we taped her, we were going to tape Tianna, and they had similar both like trauma subjects. So I sent Tianna the episode just to watch, so she would have a different take on things, like so it wouldn't be repetitive. So I just remember that, like we taped like 2 episodes on trauma back to back, and it was fantastic. Yeah, it really was.
Sharon has spent her life, because she grew up in an alcoholic family, and she has spent her life studying this. And she goes by the Toothbrush Yoga Lady on social media.
On Twitter,
Right? And T knows all about this.
Yes. She's certified.
Tell us why we do this.
You massage right beneath your ear, down your neck, and that's the vagus nerve. That's where it lives. And you just massage that, and you can do like full, like ear massage. You can do your face. But this is the vagus nerve where it lives.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah.
About
I'm sure Sharon's a lot more equipped to talk, so go watch her episode. But I have it up here, episode 45. Oh wait, that was her with somebody else. Did she come on?
No, that was
Donna Marie.
That was her with Donna Marie, who is another person that I want to thank, because she talks about how art can heal.
Yeah.
You know, past trauma.
Yeah.
So
she had an injury when she was really young, like 9 years old, Rini?
Yeah, she was hit by a drunk driver.
Yeah, she was, and so her life was like, so she had to like relearn to be in like society in general, because, you know, it's her brain was really affected.
And her mother wasn't equipped to
handle. That kind of an injury. So it's like she had to basically learn it, like reintegrate herself, and she did that with art and used it for healing. And the episode that one you just mentioned was we did a somatic healing workshop with both of them. So that's what it was. Yeah.
Let's get back to that. Will you explain it to us, sweetie?
A quick basis. The polyvagal. So it's all about, it relates to your nervous system, which you were talking about, Rini, before, and how obviously everything lives in our nervous system. So our body has kind of been trained when we are met with situations that it recognizes, we're going to go back into that fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. So the polyvagal theory just it's created by Dr. Stephen Porges, who I actually got to learn from as well in my class. But it's actually like a ladder. You can look up the polyvagal ladder if you want to learn some more, but you like move from different states. So probably going to mess this up because it's been a little bit, but the dorsal state, I think, is the rest state. So when you're like stuck in freeze, but you basically want to move up the ladder and get to movement. So instead of like being frozen and stuck and like trapped in your house, fearing the world, you want to be able to like go out and feel okay. So you can do that through like massages. That just kind of is a help to like reset your back to like the ventral vagal state.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And that's
that's amazing. I remember, I can't remember the name, Tianna, but I do remember you wrote a very intriguing poem about like stepping out in the world, and then like I usually remember even titles of all your poems, but it's escaping me right now. But I do remember that. But it was like fear of stepping out or something. It was one of the the earlier Wolf poems that I read of yours. Yes.
This might be a good time to have our amazing friend T read a poem from her book.
Okay, but only if Monday reads the poem, then.
You're a genius.
What?
Only if Monday reads the poem, then.
Of course.
Okay, so like the Revontulette foxfire in the northern sky, I dance, sparks rising from my paws as I run. Lightning without thunder, burning romantic flames across the clouds. If I disappear into darkest night, I will rise again, brilliant beyond your wildest dreams. I am a creature who belongs chasing constellations and stars. The evanescence of my being is the discovery. You may think I disappear, but I shift skins, become something fiercer than you first thought I could be. This fur envelopes me. In soft touch, excites me. Hybrid soul of legend and folk tales, existing beyond belief. I sigh a final breath from convulsing lungs, my body spread across the night sky and cascading stars, twinkling their infinite brilliance. Your children's children.
That.
Oh, not done yet.
I know. I just love that part. I just love it. Cascading skies.
Amazing line. Amazing line.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I love the whole poem. You're so cute.
Your children's children will look up and see me chasing my tail, my grinning fangs winking. They will follow my lead into the hungry forest, become lost to you forever, the way I have been, the way I always will.
Okay, but you're gonna find that poem and many more in this incredible book. It's called "Singing Through My Wolf Bones," and it's by Tianna G. Hansen.
Yep.
She goes by her married name on Zoom. Did you know your married name is on Zoom?
Actually, that's my maiden name.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Was Hansen your married name?
Yeah, Hansen's my married name.
Oh, okay. Trivia. Is it true? Can we call you Nathaniel for some reason? That's
my gosh. What?
No one is going to get that joke, by the way.
Yeah,
so
because
no one knows. Name. Yes.
Sure. Except that's my cousin's name, so it makes me feel weird.
Oh, that's so funny.
Her smile takes me on a mile. Many men fail to lace. Her eyes resonate beauty of the breeze many feel undesirable. Her hands, though weeny, smoothen rough edges that prick me daily. Her legs, sweet heavens, like a drummer's stick, beats my heart to the rhythm of her steps. Her sigh, a fountain of love, gives out reason to love more. If you find her, keep her.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That really was. And it's not
really
just
is.
about it's about beauty on paper, but on surface I love the last line, like keep her, like if you find her. It's so I see even themes of like shades of commitment in that too. So that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And you can find that on Amazon.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
On Amazon.
And his other one,
Yeah.
A Gala Women. And his other one. So.
Yeah.
But, we have another extremely talented poet within our midst. Kona, you're up. Oh, Kona can't talk today. She's a little hoarse. So she wants you to read, a poem.
I don't. Well, let me see. Okay, I might have one. This has become more special to me recently because, so Tianna, first of all, Tianna and I shared this anthology. It's called Poetry in the Time of Coronavirus. We are both in it, so that's two reasons to buy it. Still on Amazon, I believe. And I compared it to my. Oh, so another thing. Can I add one more nugget to that? This
Absolutely.
No, this involves you, Tianna, and your graciousness. This really, no, really, I'm serious. This book was delayed because if you remember during the pandemic, all mail, UPS, USPS, everything just went to hell, right? My copy was delayed.
Yeah.
Tianna's came, and I remember bitching about it to you. I'm like, I'm jealous because my copy's lost in the mail or something, and you took a picture of my poem and sent it to me just so I could see it before it came. So that always meant a lot to me, by the way. So, yeah. So it's called Unity at Last, and it kind of makes a comparison between the pandemic and my depression that I've lived with for so many years. So. Once a roaring town full of jubilance has now gone in mourning and lost its voice. Eyes of strangers that once were hospitable see nothing in their vicinity but serpents full of venom. Fear, paranoia, and anxiety eagerly display ready-made shackles for those who dare to step out. And then there's me. I imbibe the state of affairs and set free a side that's been imprisoned in me for decades. Amidst a waterfall of tears that flood the world, I swim and splash and frolic underwater. For once the world that forever derided me finally sees what I have always seen. Once the world that saw an alien in my heart now sees a despicable and hideous reflection. Our souls now share the same vernacular, with just a different of appellations. They call it a lingo birthed by a virus. I have always called it depression.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. I want to cry. I mean that
brought me to
that
tears.
really,
Yeah.
I know.
Remember that word you used, soul. That's everything. Like the soul, the imagery, everything is just so beautiful. You just can't.
Stunning.
Not do but relate to that point. Yeah, it's stunning. Yeah. That's the word. Thank you, really.
It was like born out of friends of mine telling me like that they were, for the first time in their adult lives, they had experienced anxiety and depression because of the pandemic. And, you know, and if you guys remember, like at the peak of it, people really were afraid to step out, make contact. Like everything was like, oh my God, we're gonna get it.
Yeah.
So that's where it was kind of like, now, so it was my way of basically telling the society, now you guys get it, who hadn't had clinical depression or any kind of clinical mental health issues. It's like now those people who never, or at least not in a recognizable way, they were finally having it to that extreme that we all have struggled with for years. So
yeah,
I have to mention, like, Tianna, you have been a huge part of me opening up more so in general, like over this last year and a half, maybe 2 years. Like, just want to put that out. I used to hide everything and put on this face of everything's fine. People would even ask me, what's wrong? Nothing, I'm good. And it was only because of like your support of, especially when I started my mental health account, like following yours on Instagram. And that really, really helped me, like, you know, just put it out there and be okay with putting it out there. So I remember asking.
He's told me this.
Yeah.
He's told me this.
Yeah.
You know, how you have helped him.
You did, yeah.
Stigma that we feel is, I mean, it's still there, of course, but I think the more that we work against that, and it's been amazing to see, like, I think I commented you the other day, like, I saw one of your posts, you were just, like, talking just very openly about not being okay, and I was like, I'm very proud to see that.
Yes, yeah, I remember that. You texted it, you're like, I was like, I just needed to, like, get it out, and you're like, I'm so proud of you for doing that, like, yeah. Yeah. So it's like a year and a half ago, I would have never like made any mention of it. Like I would have never said, I'm not okay right now. I would have never said that. So.
And and how many shows have we done that this has taught us that you have to talk about it. I was just
there was a quote like by our hypnotherapist we had on, Stephanie Sargent. I actually, Tianna, you might remember this because I put her quote in an illustration on Instagram, but it was like basically just sitting with your feelings and acknowledging them. And she said something like, if you want to cry it out. If you feel angry, punch a pillow, but let it out. Don't like try to press it down and hide it. And she was like, sit with your body and try to recognize where your pain is coming from if you are in pain. And I remember when she said it, it just instantly resonated. And something that I ended up cutting out of that episode is Rini started bawling on that episode. Do you remember that?
I know.
She started bawling as soon as
I'm a huge crier.
Yes.
Yeah. And I always feel better after I cry.
Yeah. That's okay. It's good though to do that.
It's releasing that stagnant energy that puts you in that, that place where you just don't feel good. So if you cry it out, you're going to go, oh, okay. Ooh, I feel better.
Tianna, one thing I have to say, because you brought your episode up, it was the most authentically you that I felt I was seeing, at least on camera, in a very long time. Because obviously you and I, we've had like our private conversations, we have had highs, lows, we've went out to each other and all that, but on camera I had always seen you as like smiling, cheery, other interviews and all that, and I was like, so when you got a little serious like in our episode, I thought it was the best thing ever, because I'm like, yes.
Hi, Monday.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he said he had to go. We'll be wrapping up too shortly, but But yeah, I just had to say that I was so grateful that, because you came back and you said I wasn't too negative, was I? I'm like, dude, I loved it. I loved seeing a side of you that we rarely ever see. So.
It was really
you were so hard on yourself.
I am. That's my main thing I'm working on, and I still have that like naggy little.
And can we talk about how you were scared of Rini? No, I'm just kidding. No, to be fair, you didn't know each other, so
I was a bit nervous because I was
you knew me obviously for a long time, but you didn't know Rini, never had 2 words of exchange with her, so it's kind of like you must have been wondering, like, what is she gonna ask me? And
the problem is
she goes in worrying about it's gonna fall apart because Rini's gonna be mean to me, and then I'll be embarrassed and blah blah blah. Did that happen?
No.
So all that worry was
I told Rini the day before. I remember I just mentioned it briefly. I said, Rini, just to know, when you ask Tianna a question, and if she does not expand on it, don't push her. I said, and the proof of, like, you can see, if you go back, folks, watch that episode when Rini asks you about your background, your trauma background, and she says, only say what you want to say. We won't pry. And that was because I had warned her. I'm like, please don't pressure. I don't want to trigger her. I want her to feel safe. Please don't pressure her.
Literally, that was just such a healing experience in general. And now I'm
I thought you were so adorable. I still do.
I don't even recognize that girl anymore, and it wasn't that long ago. But I was still
See, you're evolving.
But I was so scared back then. I had
Massage that nerve. You're evolving. You're evolving, and that is such a good thing.
It is.
You both helped so much, and this podcast helps, and I hope it continues just to help other people and let them recognize, like, they have so much to offer, and their story matters, and no matter where they've been, people aren't going to judge you constantly or define you by that all the time. It's just
No. Well, I love you guys, and this has been so much fun.
Yay!
I like reminiscing. I like reminiscing.
You should pat yourselves on the back because you've done an amazing job getting us this far. And
thank you.
You too. Yeah.
To many more shows.
You did contribute to that as well.
To many more shows.
To many more.
We ate, Tan.